FPL Game Week 37 Transfer Plans. Just 2 weeks left of the season, and myself, like many of you, are playing your bench boost this week. So we're not just lining up with 11 players, we have 15 players to put out, 2 free transfers and just under $1 million in the bank. Some pretty big changes in form for some of the teams we're looking to target. So today I'm going to take you through what my first plans are, a bit of an injury update, some of those players we've got in my Game Week 37 transfer plans. What is up, everyone? FPL Harry here. Before we dive in, a little bit of an apology. I know you're used to seeing my videos up on a Sunday evening or a Monday morning, but I hope you can forgive me. Over the weekend, I was doing something pretty special. I was asking my incredible girlfriend to marry me. As you can see with the photo here, she did say yes. So thank you to all of those who've already sent incredibly kind messages over on Instagram or Twitter if you've seen it there already. The amount of nice messages I've received is kind of overwhelming. The amount of you have just said congratulations, like amazing, well done. Thank you all so much. That is why the video was a little bit late. It's a bank holiday here in the UK. We went away for the weekend to somewhere in the UK called Suffolk, for any of you who know it. The weather started to shine, having rained in the UK for about the past 4 months, pretty much since Christmas, since winter. We have had a little bit of sun, and it came out to celebrate what is a very special moment. So thank you all for putting up with the videos being a little bit late, and thank you to those of you who have sent your congratulations in already. It is massively appreciated. As you can't see, I can't really take the smile off my face, and it's been there since Saturday when this did happen. But we are here to talk a little bit of FPL. We do have just 2 weeks left. Game week 36 has just drawn to a close. I'm recording about 10:30 at night. I've literally just got home, and then I watched the end of the Manchester United game where they got beaten 4-0. No Bruno Fernandes, and the rest of the FPL assets didn't do anything. No Bruno Fernandes for me meant that the benching decision that I went back and forth on my deadline stream basically didn't matter. I got the 7 points for Son off my bench, meaning I finished with 108 points overall for the game week. Very, very happy. Basically to say where this sets me up for the final 2 weeks. I'm about 25 points inside the top 10k now at about 3.5k. And I'm about 25 points as well outside the top 1k. So I'm basically in, I just want to hold ground. I'm being very realistic with 80% of the top 10k still with their bench boost left. Getting into the top 1k feels like a monumental drive that I don't think will happen unless I go for big differentials, which I don't really want to do. Finishing inside the top 10k, I think I'm about 10 points inside the top 5k as well, is much more important than trying to push on. I'm not going to beat my best overall rank, which was 510th in the world, which I got last season. So as much as another top 1k finish might be great, the transfers you'll see for me between now and the end of the season are probably likely to be a bit more boring, a bit more holding rank, a bit more shield picks compared to maybe I would be if I was trying to chase rank. So do bear that in mind if you're looking at what transfers I'm making and maybe trying to apply them to your team. So my bench boost squad for game week 37 is lining up as it does on screen now. So no real bench. We'll discuss in theory later down the line in my team selection video about who the actual players to be part of that bench boost would be. But for now, let's have a look at the squad that we have got. Edison and Vicario in goal, both with doubles. Edison's not been great at the moment. We'll talk about a certain Manchester City defender we might want. Vicario as well. Spurs are not defending well. Burn, Gabriel, Dalot, Porro, and Ben White. Not much in here that's really great. Burn is, not keeping loads of clean sheets. Dalot definitely isn't, and nor is Pedro Porro. Arsenal are, but they have a single fixture away at Manchester United. My midfield and attack do look good though. Foden, Son, Gordon, Fernandes, who's currently yellow flagged, Cole Palmer, Haaland, Isak, Jackson. So a lot of my transfers, so I've got 2 free transfers and 0.7 million in the bank. I am going to be focusing those transfers on my defense mainly, or Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes missing the Manchester United squad completely for the first time due to an injury for Manchester United is crazy. It will mean he's a considerable doubt going into the double in game week 37. Now, they were horrendous without him. I don't think, they would have won that game if he'd have played. Credit to how good Crystal Palace were in that game, but they definitely need him back. And if there's any chance he's back, I won't sell him unless he's ruled out again for the double. Then I will look to sell him. 2 free transfers. I think there's a decent chance I use both. I think there's maybe a chance I just use one of them, depending on what that injury update is to Bruno Fernandes this week. So things look pretty good. If I had to just bench boost this squad and not make a transfer, it wouldn't be the end of the world as long as Fernandes was available. But do have 2 free transfers, so I'm sure I'm going to use at least one of them on upgrading somewhere in the defense. So the big things that I'm missing, the teams with a double that I don't have triple ups on, are Chelsea and Manchester United. And based on that Manchester United performance and recent form as well, I will not be buying another Manchester United player. So it's, do I want a triple up on Chelsea? And if so, where do I bring that in? And do I want to use up maybe another Manchester City spot somewhere, use my second transfer to change the triple ups that I've got on someone like a Spurs, a Manchester City, or a Newcastle? So the first ones would be if I decide just to use one transfer, and it is actually moving out Manchester United players to bring in Chelsea players. Now, some of you might say this is the Chelsea bias, but I would hope if you're looking at performances for Chelsea, performances for Manchester United, you would agree that having a Chelsea player in your team for game week 37 and game week 38 is better than having a Manchester United player at the moment. Manchester United with Arsenal and Newcastle, yes, both at home, but you probably don't expect any clean sheets in either of those. And then they go away to Brighton on the final day. Whereas Chelsea have Forest away, Brighton away, and Bournemouth at home on the final day. So I do think I will want a triple up on Chelsea for game week 37. Probably adding a defender unless Fernandes is ruled out. So Diego Dalot could go. He would probably be the defender to go. Now, I could sell one of White or Gabriel and bring in a Chelsea defender, but I'm just not sure that Dalot over the last 3 fixtures, 2 game weeks, is better than an Arsenal defender over the last 3 fixtures, last 2 game weeks. So even though Dalot has the double, it probably makes more sense in my mind to sell him based on form over selling one of my Arsenal defenders despite them only having a single game week this week. It would be a Chelsea defender that I would bring in. Now, there are a couple of options that I could look at. Cucurella is probably my number 1 at the moment. He is playing incredibly well, playing left back, sort of inverting into midfield if you've watched the Chelsea performances. He is so good. Chilwell is also not back in full training at the moment. Now, Colwill is. Colwill is the player who played at left back for Chelsea at the start of the season. You will remember over both Ben Chilwell and over Cucurella. But based on current form, I do not think Cucurella will be dropped out of that Chelsea team. So Cucurella is number 1 unless we see Chilwell back in full training, in which case Chilwell might start a game between now and the end of the season. But it's worth remembering now that if Chelsea win every game between now and the end of the season, we might even finish in a Europa League spot depending on what happens between Manchester United and Newcastle in game week 37. Elsewhere, Gusto is back in training, but based on our defensive performances, I'm not confident enough to buy him to start both in game week 37. If you own Gusto, I would keep him. I think he probably starts a minimum of 2 of the last 3 games, but I'm not certain he starts both in the double. Cherva Chalobah is also looking very, very good and much improved as well. Thiago Silva is also back in playing pretty well, and it is his last few games for Chelsea. I do think Cucurella is the one I most likely go with unless we hear that Ben Chilwell is back in training. Now, the other transfer that I can make is downgrading Bruno Fernandes if he is out. And Noni Madueke is definitely putting his hand up as being a triple up on the Chelsea attack. Now, Chelsea have kept back-to-back clean sheets, but they have been both at home. And Chelsea go away to Forest, away to Brighton in the next 2. And I think attacking returns are more likely than clean sheets than we get here. So if Fernandes is ruled out, then Madueke probably is up there as a potential replacement. I can't go to a Richarlison because I've already got triple Spurs. Can't go to a De Bruyne. Already got triple Manchester City with Everton. Can't go to a Newcastle because I've already got triple up with Dan Burn, Gordon and Isak. So although there might be some others, I could go to a Saka, to a Havertz. I would take the punt on a doubling player. It's not going to be Manchester United. It's not going to be Brighton either. Maybe Pascal Gross's differential, but I can't look past the form that Chelsea and Noni Madueke are in. So Dalot to Cucurella could be a simple transfer if Fernandes is fine. If Fernandes is ruled out, then Madueke could be a really nice option. Now, actually, before Fernandes wasn't in the squad at all, and I would probably think he's back. There's been mixed reports on Fernandes. Some people said it was an ankle injury. Some said it was his hand. So let's wait and see. But he rarely misses many games, let alone 2 on the bounce. So I expect Fernandes to be back. But again, we'll have to wait and see close to the deadline exactly what update Erik ten Hag gives on it. So before that, I actually wondered about doing a little switch and using up 2 free transfers in order to get and change my Manchester City triple up that we've got. So that would be selling Ederson, who's not getting anything more than a 6-pointer anyway because he doesn't make saves and was probably not the best choice, but I was not certain on Gvardiol's minute. He just looks so good at the moment, right? I can't watch Manchester City with Gvardiol basically playing left wing at the moment for them and not have him for the double. He is also, as I said at the beginning, trying to protect my rank a little bit. One of the biggest threats to my rank every single week between now and the end of the season. He was last week, he was this week, and he will be for the next two as well. So Dalot, again, as I said on the last one, I'd probably sell Dalot over an Arsenal defender just based on form. The only reason I would sell an Arsenal defender is if I wanted to go double up on the Arsenal midfield for a -4 in game week 38 with Saka and Havertz. But I'm not really sure that's worth the hit to bench the players I've got. So I think Dalot would go. Dalot, again, I don't expect a clean sheet between now and the end of the season. Dalot would go to Gvardiol. Of course, I'd have to free up a Manchester City spot to do that, and I would use my second free transfer to go Ederson to Petrovic. Again, Chelsea defence and Manchester City defence, but in particular Gvardiol with the attacking returns he's getting, are the biggest threats to my rank every single week and are practically the sole issue I have that could mean I don't get the rank goal that I want between now and the end of the season. If I was chasing, maybe these aren't the best use of 2 free transfers, but I am trying to be a little bit cautious, trying to protect myself a little bit. I've got the bench boost. I've got a really strong squad for this week, but there are 2 real players that are big threats to me every single week, and that is Gvardiol and Petrovic. And I think Petrovic is an upgrade on Ederson. I think Gvardiol is an upgrade on Dalot. It means I'll only have 1 free transfer going into game week 38, but I do think it is an upgrade and a good use of 2 free transfers if Bruno Fernandes is available this week. So, just to wrap up, this is my current squad with 2 free transfers, 0.7 million in the bank. If Fernandes is ruled out or considered a major doubt for the double, I would want him. I do still think he's a good pick. Then I would probably just use 1 free transfer and sell him to Noni Madueke. I could take a -4 to sell Ederson, Dalot, and Fernandes and probably go Petrovic, Gvardiol, and then I have to go someone different in midfield, maybe a Garnacho. I couldn't even go for Richarlison because I've got a triple up on Spurs, so it probably would be someone like Garnacho. So if Fernandes is out, I think the chances are I just do Fernandes to Noni Madueke of Chelsea and do my triple up there. If Fernandes is back, then I think using the 2 free transfers is the sensible thing to do. I could just do Dalot to Cucurella, but Cucurella and Ederson is definitely not as good as Petrovic and Gvardiol. So if Fernandes is fine, then Ederson to Petrovic, Dalot to Gvardiol would be my use of 2 free transfers, and I would take my 1 free transfer going into game week 38, and it would likely be just to bring in an Arsenal midfielder in either Bukayo Saka, but probably Kai Havertz, given I think he's going to play up front. I think he's actually a better asset at the moment than we have with Bukayo Saka. It's pretty close, but I'd probably go with Havertz over Saka in game week 38. So that's the current plan at the moment. I'll wait for more concrete news on Bruno Fernandes. Captaincy for me is almost certainly going to be on Erling Haaland. You saw what he's capable of doing. They are just chasing the league still. They have still a lot to fight for. Differentials this week could be Son, could be Palmer, could even be Isak. But with Isak missing that penalty, I'm not certain he keeps penalties. So if I was looking for a differential, it would be Son, it would be Palmer. But as I said at the beginning of the video, I'm definitely not looking for differentials now. I'm just trying to solidify my rank for the final 2 weeks of the season. So almost certain Erling Haaland will be my captain, and Palmer at the moment has the vice captaincy armband. So those are these game week 37 early transfer plans, or not so early because it's already Tuesday. There'll be a video every single day this week until we get to the game week 37 deadline on Saturday morning. If that sounds good, make sure you subscribe so you get a reminder when those videos do go live. Drop any questions you have about your team's potential injury replacements, potential transfers, hits, bench boost, triple captain, what to do this week. Drop it all in the comment section down below. 1,000 likes is the aim. Subscribe if you are new around here, and I'll be back again very soon.